Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I feel like the reason that you picked out this video is because you want to construct an extracurricular profile that actually stands you out. For that, a little bit about me. I am a sophomore at NYU Stern and I run multiple programs which help people develop their passion projects. And the people that work with us are Harvard, Stanford, Yale, NYU, UMich admits, addressing to the solution and coming on to you. We have to identify the gap in a regular college profile. The only gap that really is that all of the college profiles are quite redundant. Even if you're the best fit for XYZ college, they are not compelled to take you in because you're just one in the crowd. The better word for your profile is your story. There's nothing about the story that you're constructing here that stands out in a way that all of the pieces are together. All of the pieces include your rewards, your extracurriculars, your grades, your essays, collectively given a story which puts you in the top 6%, top 7%, top 11%, which is usually the acceptance rate of all of these good colleges. Ordinarily, these colleges situated in the US, they really don't know much about your school or your small club unless and until something is unique about it or there is some impact that you've created that's just not basic. Unfortunately, a lot of us just spend a lot of time in basic extracurriculars just because they sound acceptable on paper. Number two, you need to really tie it back to your essays, and your essays should really vividly explain your extracurriculars. And number one, your extracurricular needs to have three things. You need to be passionately curious about it. It cannot be something generic because no matter how much you want to deny it, your intent can be read through the screen. So you have to be immensely passionately curious about it because, for example, you're applying to a computer science course in number two university in the US. You are most likely competing with somebody who has created inventions in computer science, also have some patents. An example of my friend who's trying to solve the problem of cyberbullying with a really cool video game. Cyberbullying plus video games, two things that you're passionate about, and you construct a really fun game around your academic discipline, which is computer science, which gives off the idea that you really are a creative thinker. Number two, you need to talk about a very niche community. The minute that you talk about a very niche community, that's where it becomes more fun. A newsletter and a gossip column for people who are going through friendship breakups, and she is a psychology major. So if you see the trend here, they're passionate about psychology, but they also like fun newsletter, editorials, gossip columns, and constructing those two ideas to solve the problem for a very niche community, people going through friendship breakup. Celebrity references, anonymous forms, and creating a buzz around school, which is much more exciting than a psychology club in your school where there is no innovation whatsoever and the college doesn't know a whole bunch about that club to begin with. The first kind of extracurricular which could really stand out is a community or an NGO or a small business. Now I know that a lot of you all on my LinkedIn and a little bit in the comment section of my previous college video were also thinking that it's so hard and it requires a lot of money and a big network and a lot of resources to construct a big community. But I would tell you that I constructed a community in 5 countries with 2,000 plus volunteers and raised a whole bunch of money and impacted people across different organizations in, as I said, 5 countries, and it took absolutely zero capital and only a basic network to do that. And I also started my own vegan business which was incubated by the government of India. What you need to do is follow a set pattern, and I know it's easier said than done, but if you're passionate about working on a cause, then I can really help you with step by step on how to find the right people. How do you go from phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 to finally having a successful organization, curious, innovative, and a niche target, which of course then you can scale later. For example, for my organization, I was applying business, psychology, environmental science, and all across schools. They do care less about your major, by the way. So what I did is I focused on this very specific community who are going patients in the hospital. I focused on patient mental health using color therapy. A spike of colors all throughout my profile. I worked on a color research, which I'm going to talk about next. Conventional ways of therapy, CBT and REBT, but I just tried to replicate that with color, which is where you rank. I think I've spoken about this before, but which is where you rank your moods as different colors, and then every day the progress is tracked using trained therapists and psychologists. And that was the whole organization. Listed that there were 2,000 plus volunteers, XYZ money raised, functioning in 5 countries, partners all around the globe, multiple awards in Thailand, the US, and India. If you want to work on a project like this, and I swear it's so easy to work on something like this because we have a code where we help you develop. So you need to really like brainstorm an idea with our team, and then we can collectively put you in this pattern where you also get awards, have multiple people working on this. You're leading a team of 2,000 people all across the world, which is, by the way, a lot of people and a lot of countries. And it is one of the best ways to show personality in your application. Person on LinkedIn that I work with, and he is constructing an organization in, I think, 3 states, and he works on converting waste into denims because denims do contribute a lot to climate change, and then uplifting communities and making fashionable, vacation friendly, gym friendly jeans. And it's so exciting. The love for fashion and climate change is focusing on this niche community called Gen Z. And so you get the vibe. You need to connect 2 things that are quite different. That's why it becomes a little fun. So like psychology and colors and fashion and what was it? Climate change coming down to small communities like Gen Z and patients. And that's my first tip to you. Tip to you is research. Believe it or not, universities love it. Having studied in my university, they really support research. It's really hard to crack research. The only 2 ways to crack research is to A, work with a really big organization. So maybe, for example, a professor from Stanford or a professor from XYZ school or Lumiere Research or any other big research program, which are hard to get into, but then they are worth it. But then you can also do it for free since they're pretty expensive. You can start independent research. I did 2 independent research projects in my high school, and both of them were my top 2 extracurriculars in my profile. It needs to be fun, it needs to have personality, and it needs to have a good, engaging motive. I always say this, people in the admissions office, they don't really have a lot of time. They go through your profile like this, probably in a few minutes. And so if nothing comes out of it, if there's no story, if there's no compelling nature to it, then I don't think that it's worth it for them to put you to the second round of review and all of that. So as I said, I was applying psychology to a lot of schools, and so I put up this research, which was how are colored perfume bottles different from regular transparent perfume bottles in terms of the perception of the smell. So now think about it from a business perspective, how much they would benefit from a consumer perspective to how their packaging works is one of the most important P's in a product. So I partnered with a lot of independent perfume sellers, a lot of consumers who were in malls, and I gave out survey forms. I worked with this researcher from Delhi University, from Lancaster University, and I created a whole quantitative research around it, DNT tests, and came up with the result of the correlation between the 2, like packaging and smell of perception. Another interesting research topic that I've seen students work on is smoking and gum. So effect, gum can neutralize the effect, what is the correlation, and all of that. And then you can think of it, many NGOs, many parents, many rehabs would love to have this research. And so you can partner up with them, you can interview a bunch of people, and you can give real change to your community, which is just students who are addicted to smoking. A lot of people want to apply to design schools, and that can be interesting too, working on research in lip glosses and applicators. So like if you take out a lip gloss as an applicator, and a lot of companies solely focus a lot of R&D on their applicators as well, because it can change the experience, it can be a USP, and so there are dual applicators, a lot of waste. So this is another interesting research topic. So whatever you're selecting, you have to be the best in it. Resources right now, right here. So you can start researching. They're not the end game. There is so much more, and I have a list of 150 resources that if you reach out to me, then I'm more than happy to give it to you. So that's the Concord review that I've worked with a lot. It's a history research publication. These are all tier 2 resources, which are not the most difficult to get into. So you don't have to compete in high percentage rates, but they're quite accessible and still prestigious and real, so you can use them. Then there's LaunchX, which it's not ultra competitive like Y Combinator, but it's also a very competitive summer program which is working on startup storytelling, where you make essays come alive. It can be a strong launchpad. I know that MIT also collaborated with them. So if you have an interesting startup idea, they fund you, they call you there, you work on a startup, on a real-time startup with a bunch of people, and it's really cool. There's the Journal of Emerging Investigators. It's STEM research for high schoolers, and I know that STEM is a subject where you really need to stand out, so this could be a great resource. There is Rise for the World. I think they pay you a lot of funding. They give you a lot of funding, which can help you take your venture from 0 to 1,000. It's a little competitive, and it's a global competition, but it's focused on potential, and so you really should apply. It's one of the best, I think. There's Letters to Strangers, which is the global mental health movement. It is very easy to start the local chapter. You just write heartfelt letters to people, very easy to join, and a really good addition to the fun stuff that I just discussed. There's New York Times student editorial and review contests, which is op-eds and reviews and podcasts in New York. I have written an op-ed with one of these professors. It's really cool. There's the DIY Research Public on SSRN. I am gonna link all of this down. This is just a personal research project on preprint servers, and it is, I think, one of the best, most fun research ever. There's Ashoka Youth Ventures for Indian students as well. This is just a change maker launch where you have a lot of ventures and social impact, and I think this is great for an application as well. There's so many local organizations that I've partnered with. I actually have partnered with 200 such organizations. So if you do want my time's running out, but if you do want a detailed version of it or want to book a one-on-one call, just look at the links below in the description. All of the information will be right there. And thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to making a part 2 on this, because I have so much more to cover. I only make vlogs, so do check them out as well. And I will see you in my next one pretty soon.